What is up? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Yes, we're back. We're doing more tech stuff, tips. That'll probably be the next video, but in today's, I wanted to talk about, there's a whole bunch of new tech coming out right now, and you might be asking yourself, should I get the new shiny camera, microphone, whatever it is that just came out, or am I okay with the older generation? It's kind of like the same discussion you have about your phone every year. And cameras now are, I think they're so good. You kind of underestimate how good last year's cameras are or the year before. And you're always looking at the newest and best, most expensive ones. They keep going up in price. So I've looked at the Go Ultra. I have the 3S right here that I've used for a lot of content. And, I have the DJIs, I have the mics, older mics. And we're going to take a look at the Go Ultra in today's video, the Insta360 one. And is it worth upgrading, or is it worth getting, or should you get a different one? Because there's a lot of differences, good and bad. All right, so I'm going to try and go over it as quickly and as straight to the point as I can. If you're new here, subscribe for more helpful tech videos like this. I'm very frugal. I'm very, I have to think about purchases. Every now and then I have an impulse purchase, but I like to think about it, kind of compare the specs and what is best for, your use case. So I kind of want to go over the last model, which is the Insta360 3S. This one has been my new go-to. I wasn't using it that much when I first got it. You got this nice flip up screen, which I would want more companies to do this, or you can see it from either side. It doesn't add much bulk to this one in particular, but it's nice because when you're shooting in front of you, you have the screen, and then when you either want to do selfie mode or you just want to lay it down and then make sure you're in the frame, that's super helpful. Because my one gripe with the DJI cameras, and I just sold the other one, I had the 4 as well. This one's been really good. It is leaps and bounds over its predecessor. So the 5 Pro, the Action 5 Pro, has been a really good one as well. Now this screen, or these dual screens, are not that great because you have your wide angle on the back, and then you have it cropped in square here. I would much rather them make the picture fit versus like cropping in, because yeah, you can see if you're in center frame, which is fine, but there's been plenty of times where I frame it perfectly here on the front screen, and then I noticed that there is something off to the side that I didn't want in the picture, on either side, or it's a lot harder to crop in when you're aligned so perfectly on the front if you're trying to exclude something off to the side of you. So that's where these kind of got a little bit annoying, is just that little square screen doesn't give you the whole picture. I mean, literally doesn't give you the whole picture, but flip. I like these Go cameras because of the flip screen there. So this is the original Go camera, or one of the original ones. So you open this, it's like a little AirPod case. You open it up, you take it out, and that was the camera. I even branded it. That was when I first had my other channel. So there's not much to it. You click the button and it would just start recording. This was your remote control, basically. So you could turn this on and hit record and go through some of the menu options. This also acted as a tripod, and you could angle it, to a degree, and then you would pop it back in and charge it. The only thing with this, overheating was a small issue, but you couldn't record that long. I forgot what the time limit was on this, but the battery is usually what the issue was. So Internal memory and battery life was not the greatest, and picture quality was subpar. It was like at the time it might have been a few years ago. It was as good as like a camera phone from like 5 years prior to that. All right, so this is actually the second generation of these Go cameras. The first one, I think it was like 30-second clips. This one you were limited to 10-minute clips, which was decent, and it was 2K resolution. Again, very decent. And I will say that a camera of this nature, and why I would still recommend maybe the Ultra, but for sure the Go 3S is my favorite so far, is look at it. Like, the difference between these cameras is night and day. If you're somebody just starting out and you just need something in your pocket that can quickly record, these cameras are super convenient. And this is actually what helped me start recording on some like on a dedicated camera where it wasn't my phone all the time. I could actually, put this on. They've always come with these pendants where you can just, snap it on, and it's clipped to your shirt basically. There's hat clips. There's a whole bunch of things that come with these. You can mount them anywhere and they're super light, inconspicuous. So if you're like a content creator that's starting out and you just can't get past like strapping a GoPro, having your phone out all the time. I work, in the field as an HVAC tech, so my phone, I'm usually answering a text, or using my wireless tools with it. Well, that's a whole other thing. So having these really small cameras are super convenient. So this is the one that I have right now, the 3S. It does come with this little wind screen right here. It works fairly well, but obviously if it's like super windy outside, you're not going to get the best audio, which we'll cover in a bit too. And the little action pod is really convenient with it. So again, if you just want to pop it out, we'll do a little selfie here. All right, so I'm gonna put it up a little bit. This is the audio quality and the video quality you can get off of the Insta Go 3S with some I got two little lights, so whatever you see in the video and now you'll see the difference. But this is in a lower light area, just a little bit of light on me, and it does amazing outdoors. And I think the audio quality for this is actually pretty good, and you don't need a mic, more than half the time. And then also that's with the action pod if you guys want the monitor to make sure you're in frame and what's around you, and you get the full frame, right? You can also take it out. Now, the only thing that I miss on the older ones is that this one's shot in more of a 4x5 or 5x4 frame, more of a square, zoomed out, wide angle, and you could, in post through their app, actually rotate it and do either ultra wide, wide, or linear or narrow if you guys wanted to get rid of all that distortion. There was a lot more options with this older camera. Now sensors get bigger, cameras get better. They're just not able to do the same thing. They're more specific, and that's kind of where we're getting at with the Ultra. On this one, you're having to pick either vertical or landscape. So all the time, whether it's when it's in the pod, it's in landscape. But when I put it on the pendant, you can see that it reminds you what orientation to have it in, which I have it upside down, but what orientation to have it in for your content. So if we have it here, it's landscape if you want vertical videos, so we can quickly just push the button here. And again, get a vertical video, but I'm not able to see what's going on, but more than likely, if you have it arm's length, a little bit further back, you'll be able to get a decent shot. So like I said, I'm very happy with it. I try to keep it on a narrow, linear format, but if you guys want to do wide angle, it does wide angle as well. You can get more in your shot. Simple as that, right? Recording, like I said, you put it on your shirt. It's very inconspicuous, not super noticeable. So again, these cameras, and this one I got, I think I had 32 gigs here, so very limited. Had to constantly connect it to my phone to offload videos. When I got this one, I got the 128 gig version, which I've never had an issue filling it up, but I only use it certain days. So I might record 30 minutes of footage, 40, and it can actually hold like over 2 hours of footage. So very easy to use. And like I said, it's a little hidden. They offer the black versions now, the white one. That's why I put that little decal so you wouldn't be able to see it as much against my shirt. And again, I mean, I usually, my customers where I work at know that I record, so it's not a big deal. And I don't record people, I don't record conversations or anything like that. It's strictly for rooftop work. These are very helpful when I'm working inside a building, but in a remote location, and I just want to prop something up. Or you also have magnets on this thing, right? So you can kind of stick them to surfaces, and that's another thing that makes it super easy. You can kind of put it on a wall. In where I work at, I can put it up on the wall, or a metal bracket, shelving, something like that, and just go and do the work, and it's capturing everything. So highly recommend these kinds of cameras if you guys are beginners, or you want to get creative with your shots, or you're a little self-conscious about having a camera out and everybody kind of like looking at you, right? So this one, I mean, you should tell people you're recording, or make it a little bit obvious, but for the most part, it's not a huge camera. It's something you don't have to think about. You just kind of either put it on your pendant or a clip, put it down somewhere, and just start recording. So I really love this. And if you get the 3S, get the 128 gig one, it'll last you. And then you can just offload and plug it into the computer, just take the file straight off. So let's go over a few of the differences. They do have them in a white and black options on both, which is nice because originally they only came in white. So you're gonna have slightly different sensors, which I think does come into play with the new night mode that you get. You get a 5 nanometer chip, AI chip now, actually, which helps again with low light and stuff like that. It's still 4K. You get up to 60 frames now, which I realistically, as some people do use it. I feel like 60 frames per second takes up too much memory. It makes the camera work harder, and then it's harder to align that quality and frame rate across different cameras. And if you're somebody like me who uses their phone, a Insta360 camera, a DJI or two DJI cameras, and now a full frame camera, I want to be able to have the same frame rate across, and I typically always export at 30 frames if you guys are curious. 60 frames is super smooth. It looks really cool, but for vlogging, for day-to-day and work style stuff, I'm a firm believer on the 30 frames per second. It just looks a little bit more closer to natural. And then you get some people that like 24 frames, but again, I'm trying to keep it consistent, and 30 frames is pretty easy to get on most cameras that you come across, and the files are much more reasonable, so you're not having to move much, too much of a larger file from the computer, or wireless transfer, however you have to do it. So you do get pure video mode. That's going to be your night mode, basically. So the Ultra has all these to help you in low light situations, which I do think it looks great. But again, these cameras, I'm not reaching for low light, and I'm not trying to do low light content. So I mean, that's completely up to you. If I ever do work at night, it's not going to be the best footage, and I have to see myself, so I'm going to have some lighting around me at some point, or like a flashlight on the area that I'm working on, and that's where the camera's pointed. So low light is cool, not necessary. Typically I'm going to have a light shining on whatever I'm recording. Here are going to be the two main differences, and the two things that hinder all of the Go cameras, whichever one you're looking at. And it's improving year after year, but the one that I have here, the one that I'm actually going to recommend, is the 3S does not have any SD card built into it at all whatsoever. You cannot use an SD card with it. So that's why that one I got 128 gigs, and it was perfect for me because I typically record maybe a couple days in a row, and then I'll offload and start editing that stuff. It's not, I don't have to keep files on here. I'm usually exporting them to the computer or a hard drive or whatever it is, wherever I keep them. On the Go Ultra, there is no internal storage. So where a DJI gave you the best of both worlds, because I've actually forgotten the SD cards because I'll put them in the computer. The next day I forget to grab it, and then I'll head out and I don't have an SD card. That's where that DJI has come in clutch because I can record at least a day's worth of video, and then later I can get that SD card and put it back in. So the Ultra only has SD card storage, so you're gonna have to get an SD card. And the good thing is you can basically get whatever you want, so you can have the most out of that camera. And then the battery time. So on my 3S, again, I haven't had any issues because I typically carry the action pod, or the little case for it with me because I want that monitor. So I can get, like it says there, 140 minutes out of the case and camera. And if you have it out, you get 38 minutes, which is fine again because I'm typically filming 10, 20-minute clips at a time, and I'll throw it back to charge. On the Ultra, you get 70 minutes, which I think is more than enough, and then 200 minutes with the Action Pod case. So this is interesting. There's only 6 degrees more on the field of view, so not a big difference there. You do get much faster charging, right? 12 minutes will get you 80%. That is really, really helpful because a lot of times this is not the one that I was using as my main camera, so I'd forget to charge it. And I still got decent charge time because it would take 23 minutes on the one that I have. But that 12-minute fast charge is really cool. Slightly bigger screen, and then now you're gonna have with that AI chip, low light and noise reduction. So just like all the new microphones that are coming out, the wireless mics, the audio is always going to improve. So you're going to now have auto wind noise reduction levels. So you got strong, you got weak. You can also do voice enhancements, where on the old one, or last year's, again, the one that I use, I found it very good. So I can imagine the Ultra is going to be like almost damn near perfect, where you don't need any external mic. I was able to record on rooftops where it was slightly windy and then it kind of built up. I just had to do that in editing and post to do a either noise reduction or voice enhancement, which again, you can tell when you run that kind of software on it. So that would be my only concern with the Ultra, is how robotic does it sound? Does it get better over time? Since it's AI, I'm not sure, but it's nice to have it built in, but sometimes it's better to do it in editing because you have more control over the strength of it. Basically, like you can do it, like I use CapCut and there is like like a slider for it. So sometimes I use it all the way maxed out because I have to, and sometimes I barely add any of that enhancement because I still want background noise to make it sound more natural. So we had to run a sensor. We had to move some vents, close some vents to balance it out to where this didn't get super cold, but the kitchen could keep up. So we've done a lot already here, and now we're gonna have to redo that duct. I'm gonna quote that out. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this kind of content. All right, so pricing. There is a difference in the camera itself. I'm a little bit shocked at some of the bundle prices. So here we have the Ultra at $449. So the two that I bought before, the Go 2 was around 300 bucks, 329 maybe. And then the last one, the 3S, had gone up to about 399. As you can see, it's scratched out there. And it's been brought down to 319. Now that is just the standard. You get the camera at 64 gigs and the pendant, the stand, and the easy clip. So you got a few things to start you off with. versus the Ultra. And like I said, now there's a price drop. So that's what you're seeing the difference there, like a $80 price drop when it was more of like a $50 difference. So it's gone up, but I actually thought it was a little bit more. 449 is not bad whatsoever. Yeah, for some reason their creator bundles are the same price. Now for DJI, I always recommend the creator bundle. They have different ones, but there's a creator one where you get like a tripod, extra batteries, you get a whole bunch of, necessities, I would say. With Insta360, it's a bunch of different kinds of mounts. So you got like a quick release cord, um, a quick release mount, and a pivot stand. So a pocket flexi mount. So these are things that I don't use. I typically like what comes in the standard, and you can see right here, like it's the camera and the action pod itself, and then you get the pendant, which I think is super important. And you do get that it's like a little stand on a ball joint, and it has that quick magnetic mount, and the easy clip is the hat clip. Basically, I think that's all you need for this camera. So you're not going to be looking at in my opinion, the creator bundle. So right now your price difference, because of the sale they have going on, is about $120. Also, you can see right here, it is almost twice the size. So you're going to lose a little bit of that ease of use. And again, somebody who is starting out and doesn't want a bigger camera, that's the whole point of these little cameras. So now it's twice the size. You do get a few extra features, like I said, bigger battery, SD card compatibility. Now, if you have one and you're looking to upgrade, the mounts are different, which really sucks because I typically, buy extra of those little magnetic mounts where it's like for tripods and different things that you can, put these cameras on. Different kinds of mounts where it's a quick release. You're gonna have to buy all new accessories for this one. The only thing, but I have not seen anybody actually test it because I think it's coming in an update, is that this Ultra is supposed to connect to wireless mics. Insta360 wireless mics are called the Mic Air. Now, as you can see here, it is only compatible with the X5, X4, and the Ace Pro 2. I don't see, and it doesn't say like coming soon or anything, but technically, from what I've heard of others, that it is going to be compatible with the new Go Ultra. Now, I haven't seen it yet. Nobody's talked about it. Nobody can test it yet because it doesn't work yet. So that's another big, it's a big plus if that's true. And like I said, if we go to their compatibility here, I don't know what Bluetooth headphones means, but they have mics on here. So it might be what it can connect to through Bluetooth, which would be the DJI Mic Minis, the Mic 2s, because those are on their newer Osmo audio system where they connect to all DJIs wirelessly. And it's going to include the new Mic 3s that just came out. But it also lists here the AirPods 4, the AirPods Pro 2, some Redmi buds, and Vivo TWS is usually earbuds, where I'm assuming this means audio, right? So if you want wireless mics, the Ultra is supposed to work with them, but I haven't seen anything yet versus adding a receiver that sticks out on the side of the camera. So if this is true, that would be another big plus. So more battery, SD card, and wireless mics whenever that becomes available would be the biggest thing. It being bigger in size kind of deters me from buying it and having the price jump up a little bit. So because I just started using this again. I bought it and I wasn't sure about the quality, but I've been blown away with the quality on the Insta360 Go 3S. The Go 3 I felt like was not much of an update versus the very old and very dated. You could even tell that the quality was not great. Um, but it helped me get through my early YouTube years of just filming more. That's the whole point of these cameras, any action camera, but this one being the smallest of them all, is just being able to film more on the spot and film more confidently without having a big camera. Honestly, all you really need is your phone to start, but if you're looking for a beginner camera, I'm still going to recommend the Insta360 Go 3S. I'm personally still going to use this one. I am not going to buy the Go Ultra. It's very tempting with the SD card and the external mic compatibility, if that is true, like I said. But other than that, this has great video. This has great audio. I showed, the footage that I could, showed the footage here in a lower light situation, and it just works, and it's $80 off right now if you guys want to go pick it up. I'll leave a link down below. I think I have an affiliate for Insta360 that still works, so I'll try and get you guys the best deal possible down there. And this is, if you saw my last video, this is where it would have been really cool to show you some raw footage, but the footage that I have of me in the field with this camera is all color graded and kind of updated. All I have to do is give it a little bit of color because I like it to pop, and then raise up the shadows, just so you can see everything, because I work in areas and like sometimes it's a little bit dark in these corners or in the unit that I work on. So again, just bringing up the color and bringing up the shadows. That's really all I do to the footage from the Insta360. Personally, I don't record anymore in Vlog or D-Log or any of those log styles or formats on these cameras. I go with a natural look and just kind of tweak it to my liking, what I think is appealing, which I'll get into. I've been asked about editing and stuff that I do. So again, if you guys have any questions, any comments, leave them down below. Just kind of wanted to give a quick shout out to the 3S. I feel like this is the sweet spot of beginner cameras, or just, if you're scared to start being a content creator. Again, really good camera to get because it's super small. You don't really notice it, and it's easy to record. Just hit and record. That's always the hardest part. This pendant just comes in handy for so many things because you can also stick your mics on there if you don't want to clip it to your shirt, because the mics kind of pull on your shirt. So I'm going to get into a whole bunch of other things. I'm just trying to get back on this tech channel. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. The last video could have been dead on arrival, but we had a lot of good feedback. I got some comments, got some messages. Views are always nice. So if you haven't yet, please like, comment, subscribe. I'm going to go over my EDC camera stuff, my backpack, give you guys an update on the backpack. It came in really clutch on this Milwaukee trip because I was flown out to be a content creator basically and record as much as I could. So all of that coming in, I've been going full, head of steam on content creation this year. And I'm going to bring you guys along as far as like updates, what I've been doing, and, kind of sticking with it this year. Hope you guys got something out of it. See you guys.